Good morning, children. Um, I hope this finds you well. So, what we did is we are over here on Tranquila, 1214 Tranquila, and we put in we can see, where the neighbors are roughly sitting next to us. We can see the depth of the lot. It's actually a pretty decent sized big lot. What I want to show you is how to approach this by starting your house, and we'll put in the foundation, and you're going to have to start planning what your porch areas will be and what your floor plan is going to look like. But for today, let's just get started. So I'm going to actually back up a little bit. So what I am suggesting you do is go over here to the top view. Do this exactly at the top. Don't build the house directly onto this site, because you view this at an angle, it'll actually try and make these lines and rectangles parallel to the surface here, but we really want it parallel to the ground plane. So that's why when I go here to the director cut and hit the top view, that's a good construction view here for this, laying out this house. And so I come to the left, the ground plane to the left, and do a 2-point rectangle. You see as you drag it out that the dimensions, length and width are on the right hand side over there. And I've kind of done the math already for you, since I'm permitting you to have 3,500 square foot on the first floor. I've determined, I did some math, and it turns out that 62 feet, comma, and then 56 feet, enter, almost makes a perfect 3,500 square feet. And you can kind of see that size sort of fits in here, and this neighborhood fits in probably on the lot. So what you'll do now is move this over to your lot. And again, remember, you have to have your 30 feet from the front of your property. So you can see kind of where these houses in these neighborhoods start. I'm probably going to drop mine down right here, and then go take a quick measurement. Look at that, plenty. That's almost 50 feet right there. So I could even have some front porch element in here, which I'd probably want. Okay, so from this plane, if you've got a plane like this, you can go ahead and select it like that, and then extrude it. And then I'm going to extrude it downward to make the foundation in this case. Like last year, I'm just going to assume that we're going to leave room for like an 8-foot basement. So I type in 8 feet. So if you see, if I roll around now, you'll see that I've put an 8-foot top wall basement. And in fact, what these would be is probably, you've got like a cement. I'll show that to you in a second, actually. So, but I'm going to go ahead and pull it up as well. There we go. So it's sticking out of the very top edge of my site. And again, I think it's pretty good practice to pull that at least a foot up above the corner of your lot. And so how to tell that, let's go measure it. Oh, almost exactly. So I got 16 inches above. So the water will come running down this site going into the road. And what I just want to make sure is I've got a foot above that water grade line to start my house right here. And actually, that means I don't quite need that depth on the foundation, so I could probably take a measurement here. I will, down the corner of this. It's 11 feet. It really only needs to be 8 feet. So I can raise this up by 3 more feet at the bottom here. So I'm going to do that. So this, I'm going to let go and say 3, grab it, push it, type in 3 feet, enter. So basically, I really don't need that plane right there anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these side faces. If you haven't done that already, I kind of meant for you to do that on that site creation exercise we did. Once we have that site right there, there it is. So this has no real architecting I thought has gone into, do I really want to do just a square? But I think it meets the code, right? We're well within our side setback margins. So that had to be 6 feet, right? And that's 14 right now. And we've left ourselves some area, a generous amount of area for a backyard. It's your turn to try and think of ways that you want to divide this up. So if you would prefer, and I'll show you how to do it, okay? But you could say break this into differing rectangles, and I really would. You see how it's going on that face, but as soon as I click on the surface, it actually changes the orientation completely. Doesn't know what to do with it. You got to be careful of that. And one trick is hold shift, and then it'll drag out continuously on that plane. I'm gonna go back to this, and then I'm gonna hold shift, and you'll see that. Except it kind of like it's kind of still freaking out on me here. I'm trying to select on some. I'm not gonna, I really don't know. Let me see if I can figure that out. What is it? I think it's trying to pick on that surface. It's trying to pick exact points on that surface. So I'm gonna trick this and try and do this again. Hold shift. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it and then let it, yeah, that'll work. That will work for what I really kind of want to do, I think, with my house. So I added a significant amount of square footage onto the house right here. And I need to go back in and take some of that out if I'm going to keep my 3,500 square feet. And I'll really hold you to that. So when you go and add square footage like this, go measure it and kind of figure out what you've added. So you see that edge is 28 feet. And that edge is 53 feet. Actually, that's 53. And then that is 27. That doesn't seem right. Actually, let me escape. I got to drag out. There we go. Click, then drag. That's right. So that's 19 feet. And that's 53 feet. I'm sorry, that's 8 feet. So I'm clicking, and then I drag on out and drop. And 53 feet, hit escape. Come back over here, times 8 feet. So in another tab, 53 times 8 is 424 feet. So that's 424 feet for that. Now I got to get this other square. So this one is 19, escape. And then that one is 27. So I'm going to add these together. So 19 times 27 is 513. So that plus 513 equals 937 feet that I've made this bigger. So it's about 1,000 feet that I'll need to take out of somewhere, and I'm going to do something a little crazy this year. Maybe I'm going to put an internal courtyard into my house. I figure why not? And so 1,000 feet could be 20 by 40, I think. Let me just open up a new tab and see if that's true. 20 times 40, 800, right. Okay, so we're getting close to what I'll need. So I'm gonna make this one 20 times 40. Oops, that didn't work because I didn't put the feet indicator in, by the way. 20 feet, comma, and I also messed that up. And then it has to be 20 feet, comma, I'll say 45. There we go. And what I need to do is move that. Actually, so I'm going to undo that. Do it again. See how it put it in? So I'm going to restart that right here. So now I'll say 20 feet, comma, 40. There we go. You see at the lower right-hand corner how that has to be entered in there? There we go. I'm going to go highlight that, hold Control, and click all 4 of those. And then I'm going to move that. So just like the ancient Romans, essentially, I'm going to have a courtyard in the middle of my house here. But you guys, I want you guys to do this the way you want to do it. You don't have to copy every step that I do, by the way. But this is kind of what I'm going to try for on my house this year. And then I'm probably going to also put some features out here. Watch. So I'm going to hold Shift. Sorry, I have to redo it. There it is. See how it's going out flat on the ground on the plane right there. Hold Shift and then see if I can coax this thing. I may have to no-show that site. That may be the way to make this, and then bring that site back in later. So I'm going to go ahead and do that so it doesn't cause this. So I'm going to select these planes and then hide them. There we go. Now I can construct without them bothering me. So what I meant was I want to do hit Shift, sorry. Sometimes it'll switch to that center point. See that when you click on a rectangle? I think it's when you hit Shift or Control. Yeah, Control will switch it from 2-point to center point. I want the 2-point back here. So I'm going to probably end up putting like some kind of porch feature out here. So I'm going to go ahead. Not very big. I guess I'll try and keep this reasonable. And I'm going to do the same thing over here on this corner is kind of make another offset rectangle, maybe right here. All right, drag it out, hit Shift, there we go. So if I'm doing this correctly, I need to also take out a little bit more square footage out of here. But what I'm going to do before I do that is come in here and start to edit this a little bit. So what do I mean by that? Hit Escape, get out of this tool. Is come to here and trim out these lines because I want to just have the exterior wall highlighted at this point. Good. Take a little bit more for that stuff that I added in. this edge in a little. Now I'm going to have to subdivide this to be able to get its square footage. I don't think, and maybe I'll look into that and try and get you guys an answer and see if there's a quick way to measure a surface's square footage. Because I am not personally familiar, even though Google Map, if you just continually click on points, let's just Google that. I'll come back to you on that. No worries. So what I'd like you to do is we'll measure that and we'll adjust this to make sure that it's got the right square footage. But right now I have enough information that I need to go ahead and make the offset for the exterior wall. So I can start to bring my walls up. And again, well, that will be this, sorry, it's over here under the extruder tool, the offset tool. And I like a nice thick ICF type wall, which can go up to 12 inches. So I'm going to type in 12 inches. Doesn't look that thick, but this is a big house, so that's why you don't see that. And then I'm going to do that again over here so I can add that. We'll also have, that's also considered an exterior wall on this house. So I'll type in my 12 inches. There I go. That's a pretty good start to all of this. What I'm actually going to need to do is drop that wall 8 feet to really make my foundation now. So the next tool I'll go to is that Extrude Tool, and I'm gonna hit escape so it will pick that. Right, and then this is where I want these to go 8 feet down. Good. And now I can also drop that, and I'm only going to drop that 7 foot. We'll leave a foot for the post-tension slab. So only 7 feet. So I'll have a bottom post-tension slab to this foundation. Now I'm most likely not going to build any kind of basement on this project. I'm going to build my top wall on the top of this foundation wall, or my decking. That's considered decking. All of the rafter boards that we're going to put in here for this first floor. But there I go. I have kind of got my project started and I can start to lay out my rooms. I'm going to need to do that right away to make sure I have enough room to sort of plan my floor appropriately. I'm just going to measure this to get an idea. Okay, so I have an 8 foot wide room right there and a 9 foot. So I may want to open those up and make them a little wider eventually and play with this. And here I got to go measure this and make sure this is 6 feet. Oh, just barely it looks like. So if I go along the red axis here, hit shift so it stays there and go there. Ooh, by 1 inch, everybody. Yeah, okay, that's enough for today.